Alexander Mkumbo, Minister of State, President's Office, Planning and Investment. Ladies and gentlemen, akiwa amesindikizwa na Miss Rosalind Ndolwa Warrior, Managing Director, Mwananchi Communications Limited, Miss Aisha Mohammed, Mwananchi Communications Limited, Board Member representing the Board Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Blandina Kilama, Deputy Executive Secretary, Trade and Innovation, National Planning Commission. Mabibi na mabwana, Miss Tuli Esther Mwambapa, Director of Corporate Affairs, TRDB Bank, Managing Director at TRDB Bank Foundation. Miss Karen Giaf, the Acting Deputy Representative, UN Women Tanzania. The Abeida Rashid Abdallah, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Communication and Community Development, Gender, Women. Naomba tusikie makofi yaliyoshiba tafadhali. Rising Women, oye! Wonderful, please. You kwa responsibility or authority yangu ya mshika kipaza sauti kwa sasa. As we start, ladies and gentlemen, may you give me silence. Let's take a moment this evening as we've come here in a point of celebration. Ninafahamu kwamba kwenye makampuni yetu, kwenye ofisi zetu, I understand that in our companies, in our offices, the spaces in which we lead, there are a lot of celebrations that are going to be happening this month, celebrating the position of the woman in society, celebration progress that has been made towards gender equality, celebrating International Women's Day. Now, as we gather at the Rising Women Awards 2026, I would like to take a moment to have us consider reflection before we go on with the agenda. For several years, this platform has created a space where we gather not only to celebrate the ili mwanamke anyanyuke. Mwaka 2021 we said, women, we celebrate you. Mwaka 2022 tukasema she leads. We declared that she leads. Kama ulikuwepo mwaka huo, tafadhali utapiga makofi, utapiga na kakigelegele kidogo, ili pia mgeni rasmi ajue kwamba kuna watu hapa who are conk Rising Women Awards participants. Ladies and gentlemen, 2023 together with the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, makofi, shangwe na vigelegele. 2024 tulisema count her in. Ladies and gentlemen, 2025 we challenged ourselves and said accelerate her impact. And this year we are pushing that conversation further, knowing that we are moving further. 2026 we are arriving at a very powerful question. What must we give in order for society to truly gain? As our hashtag that I shared, give to gain, is our theme this evening. What must we give to truly gain? We join the international celebrations around International Women's Day, rights, justice, action for women and girls. As we are here, I expect kwamba wote tutatake action. Tutatake action kwa namna gani? Tukiwa tunasikiliza wazungumzaji hapa jukwani, we will pay attention. Tukiwa tu kwenye mode of celebration, we will take action and connect with everything that happens this evening as we move into the theme of the evening. So ladies and gentlemen, without taking more of your time, in that spirit of reflection, it is my pleasure to invite someone onto the stage who continues to champion this platform we have grown to love, this platform that consistently challenges and pushes us forward. Ladies and gentlemen, a person whose leadership has been instrumental in shaping the Rising Women Initiative. Mabibi na mbwana wote ambao mpo ukumbini, and those joining us online on the Citizen YouTube as well as Instagram pages. Tafadhali kwa makofi yaliyoshiba kabisa, please join me in welcoming to the stage for her welcome address, Miss Rosalind Warrior, Managing Director of Mwananchi Communications Limited, as she comes to share more about the vision and the theme of the Rising Women Awards 2026. Ninategemea kwamba tutaendelea kumsindikiza na makofi mpaka pale atakapofika hapa jukwani. nyingine tena, Miss Rosalind Moria. Mabibi na mabwana, one of the things that I'm going to ask us to do, as even before she starts speaking, is acknowledge that this is the first Rising Women Awards where we have a powerful woman at the helm. Tumpigie makofi, very special. Kabla hajaanza kuzungumza, Miss Moria, karibu sana. You inspire us all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kalila. Thank you very much, Kalila. Thank you very much to the entire audience that has gathered here today. Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, Waziri Kitila Mkumbo, waheshimiwa wageni wote waalikwa kutoka private sector na public sector ambao mmejumuika nasi hapa leo. Welcome to the Citizen Rising Woman Edition 6. It is a profound honor to be addressing you for the first time on this distinguished platform. I stand here tonight with a deep sense of purpose. And not just as the managing director of Mwananchi Communications, but as a custodian of public trust and a firm believer in the power of information that shapes the future. Some of you may be wondering, why is a media house like Mwananchi Communications, the national leading storyteller, why are we shaping such a platform? Have we pivoted from headlines to event planning? The question is a fair one, and the answer is at the heart of our identity. The role of the fourth estate, especially in a dynamic and aspiring nation like Tanzania, is not a passive one. Our duty is not merely to report on the state of the world as it is. Our greater responsibility is to illuminate the path to the world as it could be. It is to convene the conversations that matter. It is to connect the architects of policy with the agents of enterprise. It is to provide a platform not just for stories to be told, but for history to be made. Therefore, the Rising Woman Initiative is not a departure from our mission. It is the most powerful embodiment of it. We are moving from storytelling to story making, from documenting change to driving it. This platform is our investment in the protagonists of Tanzania's next chapter of growth. This year's theme, Give to Gain, perfectly captures this forward-looking vision. It is a simple phrase with a transformative economic and social calculus. It proposes that to give access is to gain innovation. To give capital is to gain enterprise. To give visibility is to gain a generation, the language of charity, ladies and gentlemen. This is the language of strategic, national building investments. Globally, the picture is both stark, but also full of opportunity. The World Bank's latest Women, Business, and Law report finds that in practice, women still have only 64% of the legal and economic protections afforded to men. 64%. That 36-point gap is not merely a statistic. It represents trillions of lost GDP, countless stifled innovations, and world operating at a fraction of its potential. But the same data illuminates the path forward that countries like Tanzania are on a very good path towards. Our Tanzania Vision 2050 anchors many of the discussions that we're going to have here tonight. We are here to celebrate you, our contributors, our partners, collaborators of this nation and the development of this nation. This night is not just a night for Mwananchi, but is one that is convening voices and practices, sharing successes, challenges, challenging ourselves to push even beyond where we appear to have landed in this point in time. We have our partners, KPMG, who will help us sift through the applications that most of us have been a part of, and we will celebrate and start archiving some of these wins. The media is here to tell stories. The media is here to archive truth and leave evidence of the path and the impact that all of us that are in this room are marking on this path. So with those very few words, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's event. I would like to welcome you to be a part of this history in the making and have fun. Happy Women's Day and welcome to the Citizens' 6th edition of Rising Woman. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Tukumsindikize na makofi. Thank you so much, Miss Moria. Welcome to the 6th edition of the Rising Women Awards. Tuna sababu zote kusherehekea. Naomba ni correct, ni sahihishe kitu. Nilisema kwamba tuko live kwenye pages za The Citizen, YouTube pamoja na Instagram. However, tuko live kwenye page za Mwananchi Digital, both YouTube and Instagram. Both YouTube and Instagram. Again, kwa wote ambao mnatufuatilia mtandaoni, habari za jioni, hakikisha kwamba hautoki hapo ulipo. Mambo ni mazuri sana yanaendelea hapa Superdome na yanakuhusisha wewe pamoja moja kwa moja. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, allow me the pleasure to take a moment to ask us to give a round of applause to all the different partners that have come together with MCL to make this evening a possibility. Mabibi na mabwana, tunajua kwamba progress takes collaboration. If you want to go far, go together. And so there are partners that collaborated with MCL to make sure that we go together. Mabibi na mabwana, to the main sponsor, makofi yaliyoshiba kabisa, CRDP Bank. Yes. Tanzania Forest Service Agency, Tanzania East Africa Gateway, NMB Bank, Absa Bank, Anglo Gold Ashanti, BSSF, Serengeti Premium Apple, Airtel, iTrust, NSSF, KPMG, Vertex International Securities Limited, UN More Enterprises, TANAPA, Smart Studio, Multi-Choice. Ladies and gentlemen, Afia Fix Nutrition Health Organization, Adelisha Child and Youth Development Organization, CCBRT, Tukio, Superdome, Copra, Softcare, Lion Group, and the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Makofi yaliyoshiba kabisa to our partners as a whole. If you want to go fast, go alone. Utaenda haraka, lakini hatujui utafika wapi. If you want to go far, go together. Ladies and gentlemen, and with that, allow me to take this moment to welcome a representative of the main. Shiba kabisa kwa mwanamke wa shoka. Miss Tuli Esther Mwambapa, Director of Corporate Affairs, CRDB Bank, Managing Director at CRDB Bank Foundation. Kuzungumza nasi kwa dakika chache. Karibu sana Miss Tuli. Tumsindikize na makofi. CRDB mpo.
Asante sana. Someone was supposed to be standing here and talking this evening. Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, viongozi wote mlioko hapa, on behalf of CRDB Bank, we sincerely appreciate the opportunity to partner with Mwananchi Communication in order to celebrate the women of this country. CRDB Bank, we have an actual policy of supporting women in our organization. We have a number of platforms that we are currently implementing. The first one is She. We had a long discussion this morning. And the other one is He for She. So we have our own committee whereby we women support each other, but also we have a similar platform where men also support us. So we have a proper structured platform and a huge support from the board all the way to the management team that supports women in our organization. Group chairperson who was present today together with Ms. Moria, they had a long discussion on how to foster and drive the women agenda in different organizations. I think we are the only financial institutions in this country to have a female as the chairperson. So a round of applause for Professor Nemamori. We are very proud of her. This evening, I wish everyone a very good evening. Happy
Miss Tuli Mwambapa, makofi kwao CRDB Bank. Happy International Women's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of celebration, we understand to make this happen, there is a lot of support that the Mwananchi Communications Limited Group team has gotten also from their board. Mabibi na mabwana, we're going to take a moment to listen to Chair Mr. David Nchimbi. Mabibi na mabwana, makofi kwake. Bi Aisha Mohammed, board member.
I'm a superwoman. Hey, superwoman. Superwoman.
Thank you very much. Our guest of honor, Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister of State, President's Office, Planning and Investment, Ms. Rosaline Mdolwa Moria, Corporate Affairs and CEO at CRDB Bank Foundation, Dr. Blandina Kilama, Deputy Executive Secretary, Trade and Innovation National Planning Commission, Ms. Karen Giati, Acting Deputy Representative for UN Women Tanzania, fellow board members of Mwananchi Communications Limited, members of management and staff at MCL, our esteemed partners and stakeholders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my honor to stand before you this evening on behalf of the chairman of the board of Mwananchi Communications Limited, Mr. David Nchimbi, and the entire board of directors. Allow me first to extend our sincere appreciation to the Honorable Minister for gracing this important occasion. Your presence reflects the strong commitment of our nation to advancing women's leadership and participation in national development. At a personal level, this moment is particularly meaningful. It has just been 2 weeks since I joined the Mwananchi Communications Limited board. And I feel both honored and inspired that one of my first engagements with the organization is participation in an initiative as impactful as the Citizen Rising Women Initiative. Since its launch in 2021, and now in its 6th edition, this initiative has grown into a powerful platform for celebrating leadership, promoting inclusion, and advancing the national conversation on women's empowerment. Through the platforms of Mwananchi Communications Limited, more than 350 women and a few men who believe strongly in this cause have been profiled and celebrated, sharing stories that continue to inspire communities across Tanzania. The Rising Women Awards have also become an important instrument of recognition. Since the inception of this initiative, 55 awards, and this evening, 10 additional awards will be presented by our guest of honor to organizations that are leading by example, those with the highest representation of women in management, and those implementing initiatives that actively empower women within their institutions. This work aligns closely with aspirations of Dira ya Taifa 2050, which envisions Tanzania building a prosperous, inclusive, and competitive economy. Achieving this vision will require us to fully harness the talents and potential of all Tanzanians. Women are entrepreneurs, innovators, professionals, and leaders across communities. So ensuring their full participation in leadership and economic activity is therefore essential to the initiative, resonates strongly with the global Beijing Plus 30 agenda, which calls for accelerating women's leadership and economic participation. This year's theme, Give to Gain, captures an important truth. When institutions give opportunities, societies gain leadership. When organizations give men markets, the economy gains innovation and growth. I am also pleased to note that Mwananchi Communications Limited is living this commitment internally. Today, as you have seen, the organization is led by a female managing director. Ms. Rosalind Mdolwa Moria, who herself was once celebrated through the Rising Women platform. At the management level, women are also leading key strategic areas, including digital innovation and commercial. This demonstrates that empowering women is not only a message we promote externally, but a value we practice within our own institution. Allow me also to acknowledge my fellow board members present here this evening, the management and staff of Mwananchi Communications Limited, and our partners and stakeholders, whose continued support makes the Citizen Rising Women Initiative possible. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate tonight, let us remember that empowering women is not only a matter of fairness, it is a matter of national progress. When women rise, families rise, communities rise, and our nation moves forward. Happy Women's Day, and asante sana.
Asante sana. Mabibi na mabwana, you heard it here first. An organization that does not just champion women externally, but that lives by that principle internally. Another round of applause, mabibi na mabwana. Sasa, tunaenda kwenye kipengele ambacho mimi ndo nakipendega sana. Ni kipengele, we are going to a section of this evening that will need us to pay attention. This room is full of incredible leaders doing great things in incredible spaces across different sectors across this country. Pamoja na nyie wote mnaotufuatilia mbashara kwenye kurasa za Mwananchi Digital, wote kuna vitu muhimu sana ambavyo mnavifanya, regardless of the stage in which you do them. we are going to a conversation. We're going to listen to a panel discussion that will be had on stage. And that panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen, is something that I'm going to request that we all take a moment, whatever you're doing, tafadhali, tuwape masikio. Imesukwa na imepikwa maridadi kuhakikisha kwamba tunatoka hapa sio tu tumeshereheka, lakini tumetoka na kitu kikubwa sana. So tafadhali, wote, let's pay attention, and all of us online, tafuta peni na karatasi. Huu ndo muda wa kuokota madini. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going directly to a panel discussion. This is where we pick up treasure and gems. And it was with great honor that I start bringing to the stage the panelists for this session this evening. And then I will bring to the stage our esteemed moderator. Mabibi na mabwana, makofi ya kipekee kabisa, makofi yaliyoshiba kwa mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, ambaye ni mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi lakini panelist kwenye panel yetu jioni hii ya leo, Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo, Minister of State, President's Office, Planning and Investment. Tumsindikize na makofi. Media pia unaweza ukaweka kakitu. Mabibi na mabwana, also to the stage. Also to the stage, mabibi na mabwana, nimkaribishe Miss Tuli Esther Mwambapa, Director of Corporate Affairs, CRDB Bank. Manager Miss Karen Giathi, Acting Deputy Representative, UN Women Tanzania. Mabibi na mabwana, Karen Giathi, Acting Deputy Representative, UN Women Tanzania. Na mabibi na mabwana, makofi ya kipekee kabisa as I bring up the moderator for this esteemed panel, Deputy Executive Secretary, Trade and Innovation from the National Planning Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, your moderator, Dr. Blandina Kilama.
Honorable Kitila Mkumbo, the Minister of State, President's Office, Planning and Investment. I'd like to recognize colleagues from the government, and in particular from Zanzibar. I'd also like to recognize the representative of the chair of the board and all board members from MCL. I'd also like to recognize the CEO of MCL. A big round of applause to her, please. An even bigger round of applause to all our sponsors this evening. Our guest of honor, when Mwananchi contacted me, they simply said, Blandina, please, it will be an honor to have you moderate a panel. And I was like, huh? And then they said, yeah, you always do it with the sneakers and heels, a platform I run. I said, okay. And then they twisted it. And they said, Honorable Professor Kitila Mkumbo will be there. And they're like, kuweni na adabu kidogo. But then it's a great honor to have you, because once I was having discussions with them, they said, we've been hearing a lot about DIRA, and we think this year, when we are giving to gain, it will be a great honor to understand better DIRA. And so when I saw your name, I was like, yeah, perfect. It will be easy. I get to ask my boss a question. Professor Kitile Mkumbo, we've seen you in different platforms. We've seen you engage with investors. We've seen you checking progress made. We've also seen you giving us a lot of calls. But today, this beautiful evening, a full house of women and men supporting women, we would love to hear from you. Indira, when we're talking about having a prosperous, just, inclusive, and self-reliant nation, I turn to you, Prof. Evie, how does, strategic investment in women really directly accelerate the attainment of the aspirations of DIRA? Let me start with that question, and I think it will be good to hear from you. Karibu, Professor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blandina Kilama, the Deputy Executive Secretary of the National Planning Commission, but also our excellent moderator. You have done this one previously, and you do it very excellently. And I'm happy that we are together here and aged this way. So that is not an easy answer, but let me try. First of all, as you correctly said, DIRA has 4 main keywords. Number 1 is prosperity for all. So prosperity is key, is inclusion. And number 4 is self-reliance. So these words were not chosen randomly. They were chosen very strategically and for a very specific purpose for each one of them. So I will tell you why did we include the issue of inclusion in that vision, which is for the first time. We never had it in the previous vision. The reason was that over the past 20 years or so, our economy has been growing quite steadily, on average around 6.2 annually, which is quite a good figure globally, but also within the African standard. Nevertheless, poverty, which means that the poverty reduction rate was slower than expected. But also this growth rate was not generating sufficient numbers of employment as we had expected. And the reason research showed was that actually sectors that were driving our growth were sectors that were not including the majority of Tanzanians. And therefore we chose inclusion as a measure to ensure that going forward, we'll have to target sectors really which the majority of Tanzania are there, including women for that matter. Which is why in the vision document, if you count, you'll have women appearing 25 times in that document. And of course, none for the men. And that is also for a purpose, because you can't really deal with the poverty without dealing with the poverty of women. So we wanted to have a very special focus for women to ensure that we are able to address employment and also poverty issues. So the second point for investment. But I think 4 will be very critical if we really have to address poverty, but also if we have to address, we have to ensure that women are relevant in that aspect. So number 1, the very number 1 will be education. Education is key for everybody, for the society, but particularly for women. And the second, of course, is electricity, which is particularly very important for women, will be the question of population growth rate. So the Tanzanian population is growing for an average of 3% annually, and the fertility rate is around 4.3 children per woman. And that one by global standard is very, very high. And we know proportionally related to, poverty reduction, but also prosperity. The more the number of children you have in a family, the less you are likely to advance to prosperity. At least you'll do that one quite slowly. So I think that is an area that we need to invest, and the investment, the most important investment engine for that area, stay in the education institute for longer. They're likely to have, the fertility rate reduces. And if that one happens, you see that prosperity also happens. So those 4 key factors will be crucial to ensure that women are able to advance by way of investment. Asante sana.
That's a really, really great intervention. I like the areas that you've mentioned that the government is investing in to ensure that the women are really doing well. What I was wondering, just an addition to what you've just said, so which would be those priority sectors that women should go in so that they would see the economy expanding, as what Dira is saying? Just a bit on that before I move ahead and to the
factors which are very important for economic transformation, but those one can be grouped roughly into 3 areas. Area number 1 will be the, and I think that agriculture for business is an area that women, and of course everybody, should venture into, because going forward, this is an area that is going to be generating money, and there is plenty of market. Within Africa, last year alone, Africa imported food worth $110 billion within Africa. And I think that is an area that we need to really focus on. The second one is manufacturing. Going forward, we are focusing very much on the value addition, and our president has instructed us that there should be no product from agro-processing, mining processing will be the areas that are going to be very interesting. And already, as we speak, we have a good number of women participating, and as one of them will be key. The last one will be services, huduma, in a number of ways, be it trade, be it digitalization, be it hospitality. This is an area that women are very good at, and I think these will be the opportunity for women that they can go to make money and therefore improve our prosperity.
Please, a big round of applause to our guest of honor. And it's amazing, Honorable Chief Guest, before I came here, the table that I'm seated with, we do have ladies who is also really anticipating a great of a transformation, in particular using the digitalization. That's a good way to think about. So anybody that you are thinking about really participating in the aspirations in the DIRA 2050, you've heard our chief guest mention about 9 sectors that you can think through. So please put some extra effort there, because that's where Tanzanians want to go. Now, as a transition, allow me now to move to the one and only Tuli from CRDB Foundation. We've heard the chief guest, okay? And he said the government is investing, to ensuring that women are being included. But then also importantly, towards the end, he spoke of the sectors that have been given priority in the DIRA 2050. Now, on the corporate side, when I look at you, when does meaningful investment, on your perspective, when you're looking at women, what does that look like? You do a lot. So I think the audience in the room would like to hear, beyond what we've just heard from Honorable Professor Mkumbo. Please, Turi, Karibu, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Doctor. First and foremost, it is an honor to share this stage today with Professor Kitila Mkumbo. When to speak, and I go like, oh, Jesus Christ. So it is really an honor. Now, going back to my perspective on the investment beyond policy should be structured, should be actionable, and should focus on financial changes, particularly on those policies that dismantle barriers, promote economic agents, and deliver measurable economic outcomes. We at CRDB Bank, we realize that we leave a lot of women in the peri-rural, semi-rural, and in actual villages, underserved or completely unserved. So we decided to come up with an action that will assist us to reach and promote those women. So that's when CRDB Bank Foundation was formed. 3 years is to foster innovation and entrepreneurship development. So from that one, we have been able to provide financial access to women as train on leadership. And leadership, we do both internally and externally. As I noted earlier, that we have special platform within the bank that nurture and foster women to take part in leadership positions. So what we do through CRDB Bank Foundation, in order for us to provide the financial access, we had to develop a specific product that is particularly targeting the segment that I'm talking about, the underserved and the marginalized, those who could not meet the minimum criteria that is required by the banking sector. The banking sector is a little bit stiff, meaning that we have to complete a KYC, they know your customer, that is standardized. And you find that when you go into many of our villages, our regions and districts where majority of women reside and they do their economic activity, it is hard for them to meet the new minimum requirement required. So we came up with a program that we named Imbeju. Imbeju is the seed that we are planting, a seed of change so that we can do financial inclusion to a big number of population, women and youth. So from there, the Imbeju provide, don't need the traditional collaterals. We formalize women in groups, we register them, we provide comprehensive financial and digital training, and we have seen a good result. And people may ask, why are we doing digital for women in the rural areas? The future of the world, of our economy, is digital. We also want them to take up some opportunities. And I'll share with you that even our smallholder farmers, the women who are dealing or they're doing anything on the value chain of agriculture, they need to have digital skills. They are using their digital skills to understand the weather, the fertilizer to use, the seasonality, and the type of insect that affect their crop. We tell them they're marginalized, but in the village level, if you give them opportunity, you transform them completely, and they take that one. So another one is career advancement and leadership. That is mostly for the women in the bank, whereby we do career advancement and leadership, and we train our staff to take up the position. No, but that's not where the work is done. The work is done at middle and at the branch level. And why we are doing so? At middle and branch level, we find a lot of women who are there. And I'll tell you the secret why banks put a lot of women in the branches. Women are trustworthy, they're hard workers, they're multitasking, and because of that, it's a risk mitigation for banks because you never find fraud in those branches, and the performance is super.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. You're doing a lot, and that's fantastic. And I think women are used to doing that, but then you're doing it while including many others. You spoke of the issues around digital literacy that you're offering. You also went ahead and you said you're offering all these loans that are digital. Before I asked the question, you already said you're offering digital literacy to ensure that you're reaching out a lot. Later on, I think when we give you another round to respond, I would like to hear a little bit about the tickets of the funds that you're offering out there. So it's one thing to say you're giving funds, but I think the audience would like to hear a little bit about the ticket of the funds that you're offering. Before I welcome Karen, dear members of the audience, do understand I will take a few questions from the floor. So please do prepare for questions. And those questions, you can say, I am directing this question to so-and-so, and then they will react to that. Karen, we started from the chief guest, and then we moved ahead with an exemplary example from the corporate. Now let's move to you, and I'm going to use. We've heard from the chief guest, and we've also heard from Tuli. What are the global practices, that you can demonstrate when you are investing in women at a really big scale? Karibu, Karen.
Thank you very much. And let me first start by saying Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
And also it's Happy Women's Month. So we celebrate all month.
Thank you.
Okay, so on some of the speakers here, and one I want to add is around investments in what we call the care, involved in care work at home. And when I say care work, they're caring for children, they're caring for the elderly. So this is a lot of time that is spent by women in various levels. And this is what we call the care economy, for which for a very long time has not been factored in when we are looking at the economics, even calculating the GDP of a country. So this is one of the areas that we are seeing has a high. We are aware that what this usually provides is that it creates what we call time poverty for women. When women are highly engaged in these areas, it means they are not either going to school in some instances, they are not in the productive economy, participating in the productive economy of a country. And so they have actually what we call time poverty. So what the investments that are being made around this is when we look at childcare services, investing in childcare, childhood development services, having women access to childcare. This sees that there is a rise in productivity for women. We all know that sometimes even in our own lives, you wake up in the morning and you dash on to your board. And so some institutions, and we are glad for companies that provide child care facilities in their work, that the mother is able to bring their child and they can look at this. So we say that this reduces productivity in the sense that when women have to think about balancing the various child responsibilities, there is a slowdown in their productivity. So, and it has been seen that investment in care, if this is a structured space, it means that we are also providing employment for those who can provide paid care facilities and services. So this is one of the areas I would say has a high return. I think one of the other ones that the Honorable Professor also talked about is investment in girls' education. I think this has long-term effects when girls reach a certain education level. They have high impact, not only in their families, but also in their lives. And so they also participate in the labor force in high economic output areas. Our country, long-term economic growth in a country it's also seen to reduce poverty generations, because we know a lot of times women invest back in their families, in their homes, and so we see also poverty reduction in these areas. So I'll put this as some of the two key areas, but of course some of those others that were already mentioned have also potential for high scale. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Please, a round of applause. As promised earlier, I said I will take a few questions from the floor. Am I seeing anybody? Kalila, are you there? Okay, I'm seeing a hand right here in the middle. And then I have one. Is that Prudence? Yes, and I have Prudence. Protocol number nisaidie mic, tafadhali. Asante. And then next here to Prudence. Kindly do introduce yourself and where you're from, and then tell me who you're directing your question to. Karibu.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, distinguished guest, Dr. Kitilia Mkumbo. My question would be directed to Dr. Karen. I'm so glad that you brought this up, because earlier this morning I asked a question to panelists and I feel like there was an unclear answer. So I'm glad that you brought up human capital and working mothers in the working space. So my question would be, within the Tanzanian context, how can the government as well as the private sector come together to create policies that would accommodate women, so for them to feel safe both at home and within the working space?
Fantastic question. Thank you. Right here at the front. And then I'll come to you at the back. Thank you, Karibu.
Thank you so much for the wonderful panel. Everything about women touches the bottom part of my heart, and I'm so glad. And this question goes to our Honorable Minister.
Kindly do introduce yourself,
Oh,
Prudence.
sorry.
Yes,
I'm
please.
Prudence Masako, Country Director for Care International in Tanzania. And yes, women are at the center of everything we do. And I'm so glad to be here. And congratulations, Rosalind. You're shining, you're rocking. We are so happy. The question, women. If you see a woman leader, you like, oh, someone has broken the barriers and someone is excelling. Until when are we going to see barriers are being broken and someone is excelling? That should be a normal thing. So what I want to ask our minister is like, what is it with Vision 2050 which will make it be a normal thing? We are tired of like, oh, you're excelling, oh, you're doing what? Should be a normal thing. You have mentioned issues around the education, maybe girls' education, but I don't know if that is really enough. I just want to see those intentions which really come 10 years, it will just be normal to see a leader who is a woman, and no one will say, oh, you're talking loudly, you're so firm. People should just know if you're a leader, you're supposed to be firm. It doesn't matter I'm a woman or not. So that's my question. Thank you.
A fantastic question. Thank you very much, Prudence. Yes.
The guest of honor, Professor Kitila Mkumbo, and distinguished guests. My name's Arshadia Maulid Kitenge, and I'm a youth leader and advocate. Thank you for the amazing panel. And my question is, in the spirit of this year's theme, Give to Gain, we usually talk about what institutions can give so that women can thrive. But little do we talk about what institutions can give up so that these women can rise. So what is one system or practice that we must be willing to change or let go of if we want women's empowerment to move from rhetoric to real impact? Thank you.
A fantastic question. Thank you very much. I'm seeing another question on my left, farther left. Yes, please. Do kindly introduce yourself and tell us who are you addressing your question to. Karib.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable Kitila Mkumbo. Sorry, I was struggling. Honorable Kitila Mkumbo and the distinguished panelists. My name is Irene Madeje Mlola, Director General from Cereals and Other Produce Regulatory Authority, COPRA. My question is very simple and it's directed to Honorable Kitila Mkumbo. As we are speaking of this inclusive Tanzania 2050, DIRA 2050, I'm a firm believer of intentionality, and if we are very committed to seeing that inclusive economy, then we need to have very specific targets in terms of, for example, percentage of female leaders that are going to be in high-ranking position within the government, and many other intentional targets that we are putting. Can you just tell us some very few targets that the DIRA 2050 is putting that will see that inclusive economy? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Irene. I'm going to take last two. And it looks like I'm leaning more towards my left. Do I see hands on the side? I see one right in the middle. Khalil, are we okay on that side? All right. Yes, please, go ahead.
Communication specialist at the World Food Program.
Good evening. Can I ask you to speak closer to the mic, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Bridget Alfred, and I'm a communication specialist at the World Food Program. My question is to the Honorable Minister. In Tanzania, currently the maternity leave policy allows working mothers only 3 months before returning to work. I'm actually a new mother myself, and this has been somewhat of a challenge. So my question is, considering the importance of early reviewing this in any near future, and also what was the background and reasoning towards this number of 3 months? It's usually 84, 85 days. I think a lot of mothers would agree it's very challenging. So my question would be, is there any discussions, is there any consideration in ever changing or reviewing this in the future? Thank you.
Thank you for that. If you don't mind, we did not hear, and then he will try and answer it.
My question is, can you hear me now? My question is there consideration or discussion or thinking towards changing the maternity leave policy of 3 months?
Maternity leave?
Yes.
Aha, okay. Fantastic, thank you. And that was the last question. Thank you very much. There are quite a number of questions to our chief guest, and I hope we will not be preempting his speech. But then before that, Karen, there was a question for you. I think I'll start with you. And then Tuli, if you want to say something, and then we will come back to Honorable Minister. Karibu, Karen.
Thank you very much. I hope I got the question right. It was around what the government, private sector can do to make women feel safe. Is it safe? Yeah. So safety is a concept that would have to define a little bit better. However, I would say one of the biggest factors that private sector can do is to create policies within their own institution that provide for women, and this is what we call family-friendly policies, which private sector sometimes does quite well in ensuring that women are able to play their role not only in the workspace but also in the home front. And this alludes also to the question that has just been asked around things like paternity leave, maternity leave, flexible work arrangement. These are some of the things that in the workspace, whether it's in the private sector or in other workspaces, would enable women participate in the economic space, balancing their different social roles. The government, of course, has in their realm of mandate to create legislation policies that also allow for these women to thrive. They create the standards in which, whether it's private sector, whether it's other members of society, need to adhere to, and hence also create what you're calling the safe space or the enabling environment for women to thrive. I would leave it at that, but I hope that hopefully partially answers the lady's question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause to Karen for responding to that. Now, Tuli, I would think that question that Karen just responded to, it will be good to hear and then touch a little bit on my ticket question that I asked earlier. Thank you. Before we come to the chief guest.
So thank you so much, Doctor. I would like to share our experiences that we've added something to the community. So on the issue of safety, especially on the issue of the helpers at home, also on the issue of the maternity leave and how we support our young leaders, the female young leaders, meaning all our staff, the female staff. So there are two programs that are being run by the bank. The first trains the helpers. So every Saturday, they have sessions whereby they train the helpers. And the reason being our working hours are longer. And sometimes the branch staff, they work up to Saturdays. But also, most of these young ladies who are having children, at the same time, they are going through them by training the staff. The second one is whereby we have people at head of to provide advice and help on the issue of health, on the issue of HRBP. CRDB Bank has hired a lot of Gen Zs. They have different challenges. Some are the bipolars, whatever the new definition they have. And then another 3 months where you do, I think, 6 hours or something like that. So we have that one. On the second part, on the ticket,
yes,
it goes to insurance, so it is 6%. It's kind of CSR is the lowest. But beyond 5 million to 10 million is 9%.
The intentionality of how to really include the people in the remote areas and also how to include the young people. And in particular, Honorable Minister, you had quite a few questions. What I will ask you to do is to answer them in a block, as be a good way to end this fantastic panel. Karibu sana.
Asante. So let me say, first of all, women are already rising. So that should be the first point that we need to make. Rosalind is a woman, Prudence, you are a woman, managing director of care, and so many other women who are doing a lot of impactful work in the country.
We should clap for ourselves. Women, are you there?
Kwa hiyo,
yes, please.
Tusione kana kwamba ule unyonge wa kawaida wanawake tulisha uondoa. The board chair of a very big bank in Tanzania called CRDB is a woman. The managing director of one of the very successful banks in Tanzania called NMB is a woman. And of course, I'm not going to say that the president of this country is a woman. Hey, people. Kwa hiyo ile hali ya unyonge kwanza iondoke. Women are already rising. So that is very, very key. And we're here to celebrate that achievement. I will also tell you that in the education sector, for example, where we had problems for many years, today in our primary and ordinary secondary education, we have more girls than boys. In terms of dropout, which is a big problem in Tanzania, we have few girls dropping out of our schools compared to boys. So, which means that we have higher boys dropout than girls. So already, women in many sectors are doing very well. If you go to University of Dar es Salaam, as we speak today, more than 40% of the enrollment there will be women. In actual fact, if you go to some of the courses, you have higher concentration of women than men. So in terms of statistics, apart from very few sectors, women are already doing very well. That is not to say that we are done with issues of gender mainstreaming. We do that by two ways. Number one is by policy and legal framework. And I don't think from that angle, if we still have serious policy and legal barriers to women advancement, what is remaining really is the question of the attitude. We have to deal with attitudinal issues from the society and from men in particular, who still look, some women, they look down upon women. But when women are succeeding, we should see them succeeding because they have merit, not because they are women. Because I get really disturbed. Kwamba mtu fulani ni MD kwa sababu ni mwanamke. That's not the reason. Rosan is not an MD for Mwananchi because she's a woman. Because she qualified to be in that position. Bulandina, who is working for me, she's a deputy executive secretary of our very important in many places. Nadhani hii ni muhimu tukaiona hivyo kwamba mtu hayupo pale kwa sababu ni mwanamke, yupo pale kwa sababu ame qualified na asizuiwe kwenda mahala kwa sababu ni mwanamke. I think these are the issues that we need to look at. Now the last one, which is a issue of biological reality. And those are the issues that we have to deal with. Men and women. Kwa hivyo, we have instruction, we have a policy which requires, for example, every work setting to ensure that it addresses the young children. I think we have increased the number of maternity leave. Now is I think it's 3 months plus. If there is a need for more, we can make an argument, and of course our role is to make policies and laws, and that will be addressed. Otherwise, thank you again for your very good question, but kutoka WFP, I think that was the maternity leave issue they have already addressed. I think that one is being taken care of. If there is a need to relook into our...
Very much. I hope for the time that I had this esteemed panel with me, we can all say we have understood a little bit about DIRA, and maybe you're inspired to go and read a little bit more about it so that you know when we're talking about a prosperous, just, inclusive, and self-reliant attention to education, giving attention to innovation, taking care of issues that are provided in the financial sector, but then again being intentional so that at the end of the day, whatever we are planning becomes a reality. And even importantly, it's not just about the public sector, but also the private sector. And at the end of the day, with caring for all those who are providing finances to that, to us, we need to understand that we are forging, and we are really calling for all the women with merits being given positions, and not just being given positions just because we're women. Please, a round of applause to our esteemed.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A hand of applause to the panel, as well as to the moderator and all the panelists. Sema one man amerepresent jeshi. Mabibi na mabwana, tuwapigie tena makofi yaliyoshiba kabisa na mheshimiwa. Ladies and gentlemen, may I please also ask that we give a hand of applause to all those who asked questions and contributed. Kama yuko kwenye meza yako, usimbanie makofi, mpigie makofi. Amerepresent meza nzima. Ndio. Nasema kama Mungu alikuwa anakuja na anataka kushusha baraka kwa wale waliouliza maswali. Wengi inabidi tuanze kujiuliza maswali, but all in all, thank you very much. I also did notice that there were people online who are following meticulously through the conversation. Asanteni sana for engaging. Mabibi na mabwana, at this point, we're going to go and take a different turn in our celebration model. Tumesema kwamba kwenye sherehe kama hii, we reflect, we converse, but also kiafrika tunashangilia kwa mziki kidogo na kwa kucheza. So at this point, allow me to introduce a little bit of entertainment this evening. Tuna mwanamuziki Miss Lillian ambaye anajitayarisha kutusherehesha vilivyo. Ladies and gentlemen, Lillian, makofi kwake tafadhali. On the 1 and 2.
Diamond, shining bright like a diamond. Twilight is a beautiful sea. I choose to be happy. You and I, you vision I have to see. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're a diamond in the sky. I saw the light to shine, so shine bright. Tonight, you and I, you're beautiful, diamond in the sky. I took her, so I love. You're beautiful, diamond in the sky. Shine bright in the sky, shine bright and diamond. Congress as the universe has we. Moonshine and marine, through the world will never die. You're a diamond in the sky. You're shooting star I see. A vision has to see. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're a diamond in the sky. I knew there will be come right away. I saw the shade to shine bright. Tonight, you and I, you're beautiful, a diamond in the sky. I took her, so high love. You're beautiful, a diamond, beautiful, a diamond in the sky. Shining bright like a diamond, shining in the sky, shining bright like a diamond. Thank you. Oh yeah, all night. I'm afraid of the dark, special when I'm with her. There no one is around. Oh, I get shivers. I don't wanna see a ghost. There is something of famous. The head feels so tall. What you giving you? Life, oh life, oh life, oh life. Do. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life. again. I'm the worst of the world. If I walk down the rain, I keep on beating. I take you high up in there. Anytime, anywhere. With the praise, I'll be there. Bungee jumping, I don't care. Life, oh life, oh life. Do, 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 do. Life, oh life, oh life, oh life. Do, 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 life. Do, 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 do. Shit. So often when I see it down, I know I'm not the only one. It seems to an affair of the world in the beautiful room. Let's go! Jamani akina mama tucheze. Ai! Miziki ya kubwa. Tuamke tucheze. Twende sawa? Aha. Tusogee mbele tucheze basi. Naebaki suka siko tingamae yakaira mobarina ai pantalo mukabo mama tubarana suki sabilo bilo kwa bato kikola ya maina shiri suka nilita naebaki suka siko tingamae yakaira mobarina ai pantalo mukabo mama tubala sheri sukarilita namna hiyo. Tingomai, yang aina mobali damai, pancala moka gomamba, subalana, suki sabilo bilo kaya bato, kikwela yang aina sheri, sukalilita ma. Wanawake tunaojiamini, tusogee tucheze pamoja. Ai. Yuko wapi Roslyn? duara sasa, tuzungushe duara. Chini. Haya, msogee tuzungushe duara wanawake. Chini. Tusogee.
Wanawake oye! Rising women oye!
Sijali, majaribu ni pengine, nafahamu ni ndani. Waseme, tena sindose, watasema mchana, siku watalala, wacha wewe, wasema
Mabibi na mabwana, huyo ni Lilian.
wataka mambo mtayaweza.
Tumpigie makofi, ladies and gentlemen, a hand of applause. Rising Women Awards, woye! Ambona kama siwasikii jamani, mgeni rasmi hata hajaelewa kwamba mmo kama mmelala. Rising Women Awards, oye! Hi. All you online, hello. Hi. We are alive and we are live at the Superdome here in Masaki, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, celebrating another year of the International Women's Day, live at the Rising Women Awards Limited. Mabibi na mabwana, at this point, after that festivity, I'd love to bring to the stage for remarks on how the winners of the Rising Women Awards are selected. Mabibi na mabwana, may I call to the stage tax partner from KPMG. Mabibi na mabwana, tax partner KPMG. KPMG Shangwe. To the stage, Miss Fabiola Sebuyoya. Karibu sana. Makofi kwake.
Honorable Minister, Professor Kitila Mkumbo, the Managing Director of Mwananchi Communications Limited, Ms. Rosaline Moria, distinguished guests, distinguished government leaders, and the incredible women of Tanzania, happy Women's Day. Honorable Minister, before I begin my speech, please allow me to introduce my colleagues, our country leader, Alexander Njombe, and my colleagues from KPMG. Ladies and gentlemen, at KPMG, we are honored to continue our collaboration with our longtime partner in the 6th edition of the Citizen Raising Woman Award. This year, we celebrate under the global theme of Give to Gain, a reminder that when we give our support, resources, and opportunities to women, we gain stronger communities, thriving economies, and a more equitable society. As a signatory of the UN Women Empowerment Principles, we firmly believe that female leadership and diversity in workplaces, especially within management teams, are not only markers of equality, but also reflections of socioeconomic, cultural, and political progress. Our role as assurance partners in this initiative has been to review and verify candidates against the nomination and participation criteria that has been set to ensure transparency and integrity in the whole process. In the Rising Woman Awards, which featured 2 categories. The first category was the Rising Woman Award, recognizing organizations fostering gender equality in decision-making roles, organizations with clear systems that build women leadership pipelines. To all the nominees, participants, and the winners that we will be announcing later, we commend your achievements and unwavering dedication. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go fast, you go. Aha, we're getting somewhere. If you want to go far, you go. We are going to DIRA 2050 and beyond. Mabibi na mabwana, makofi na Rosa. Sitting next to them, a round of applause. I am going to ask you to take a moment and tell them something about themselves. Tell them something kwamba hereni zako umezinunua wapi? Sijawahi kuona kitu kama hiki. The way the collar sits on your suit is something innovative. I've never seen anything like it. Normally it's easy to give women compliments. Give the men compliments za kibabe. Mwambie, yani kwa kweli hijabu lako, yani sijawahi kuona kitu kama hilo. Yani fundi aliyeshona kazaliwa wapi na saa ngapi? Ebu. Alafu sasa umeshamaliza yule upande mmoja, geuka upande wa pili. Aha. Alafu ukishamaliza naomba umpigie makofi tena yaliyoshiba kabisa. And tell them congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for the work that you do. I celebrate you. Ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of going together, I'd like to take a moment and once again honor the partners that have come together with the Mwananchi Communications Limited to make the Citizen Rising Women Awards of Umbili 2026 a great and grand success. And as I say the names, if it is your company where you hail from, please shangilia from your seats. Mabibi na mabwana, first and foremost, our main sponsor for the night, CRDB Bank.
2, 3, 4.
Tanzania Forest Service Agency. Tanzania East Africa Gateway, NMB Bank, Absa Bank, Anglo Gold Ashanti, BSSF, Serengeti Premium Apple, Airtel, iTrust, NSSF, KPMG, Vertex International Securities Limited, You and Women, Mixed by Us, I See a Lion, ladies and gentlemen, Simba Clearing, Mabibi na Mabwana, More Enterprises, TANAPA, Smart Studio, Development Organization, CCBRT. Sasa CCBRT, hata kama haujatoka mimi naomba tushangilie tu wote. CCBRT, Tukio, Superdome, Copra, Soft Care, Liaison Group, and the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Makofi ya kibabe kabisa to all the partners. And of course, makofi yaliyoshiba kabisa to the Mwananchi Communications Limited.
1, 2, 3, 4. Kana wandu wangu wanodan wanesikaranga.
Jamani vigelegele kwake Bi Roslyn Moria. Sijasikia. Jamani hatujui kupiga vigelegele. Kirushwe tu kidogo. Asante sana. Ladies and gentlemen, and with that spirit, what is going to happen next is going to be a giving of certificates to different partners ambazo mtapatiwa, ladies and gentlemen. And so as I'm going to introduce how the process is going to run, tafadhali naomba tusikilizane. Atakayetoa huu mkono wa shukrani itakuwa ni mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi. Pale nitakapomwita, nitataja jina moja baada ya lingine. Nitataja jina moja baada ya lingine, lakini nitayataja kwa uharaka kidogo. When I announce your name, please you will come onto the stage from stage left. Hapa kidogo sometimes naonaga tunachanganyana. Utakuja upande huu. Kushoto kwangu ni kulia kwako, utapandia just to be sure kwamba tunaelewana. Utapandia kwenye ngazi zile pale. Yes. Utapandia pale na uta exit pale. So mtapanda jukwaani, utakuja utapokea tuzo, your award, not award, lakini mkono wa shukrani. Utakuja kupokea mkono wa shukrani, utapiga picha na mheshimiwa na utashuka stage right. Nitaomba tuenda haraka iwezekanavyo. Nitataja moja baada nyingine. Wakati moja yuko jukwani anapokea tuzo, nitaenda moja kwa moja na kumwita anayefuata. So nikiita tu jina lako, tafadhali usibaki umeketi, nenda moja kwa moja pale kwenye ngazi, hata kama tutaweza kupanga msururu pale chini ili tuweze kuenda haraka iwezekanavyo. Ni sawa? Thank you very much. Mabibi na mabwana, kwa heshima na taadhima, ningependa sasa kumkaribisha mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi aje jukwaani kwa zoezi la kutoa mkono wa shukrani. Makofi kwake tena, Honorable Professor Kitila Alexander Mkumbo, mabibi na mabwana, Minister of State President's Office, Planning, and kumkaribisha jukwani tafadhali Miss Aisha Mohamed, please to the stage. Ningependa pia kumkaribisha Miss Roslyn Moria aje pia jukwani. Tafadhali tuwapigie makofi wanapokuja jukwani.
2, 3, 4. Kana wandu wangu wanodan wanesikaranga. Bakajinini bisa, bakanyengetera. Ichapota nyika yabo ile. Ichapota nyika yabo. Batina hati wari. Omu Afrika mbele umundo.
Ladies and gentlemen, kwa kupokea mkono wa shukrani, tunaanza kabisa na our main sponsor wa kibabe kabisa. Ladies and gentlemen, to receive the first ni CRDB Bank. CRDB Bank, karibuni sana. CRDB Bank. Baada ya CRDB Bank, ningependa mwe tayari Tanzania Forest Service Agency. Tafadhali Tanzania Foreign Service Agency. Tafadhali head over to the stairs pale kupokea mkono wa shukrani. Tanzania Forest Service Agency, tafadhali mtakaribia jukwani. Mtasimama tu pale kwenye ngazi mpaka muda wenu wa kupanda. Baada ya Tanzania Forest Service Agency, naomba mkae tayari Tanzania East Africa Gateway. Tanzania East Africa Gateway, tafadhali mkae karibu. Tafadhali CRDB Bank mtashuka upande huu wa jukwaa. Aha, umeamua kuwa disruptor. Asante sana. Nashukuru. All right. Mabibi na mabwana, next Tanzania Forest Service Agency. Tafadhali mtapanda upande ule wa jukwaa, mtashuka upande huu wa jukwaa. Tanzania Forest Service Agency.
I know your hope. Comorero hope. I know your hope. I know your hope. Africa. Will be saved.
Ladies and gentlemen, tafadhali NMB Bank mtakuja pale kwenye ngazi, kaeni tayari. Sasa hivi wanaopanda jukwaani mabibi na mabwana ni Tanzania East Africa Gateway. Tanzania East Africa Gateway wanapanda jukwaani kupokea mkono wao wa shukrani. East Africa Gateway. Jukwaani sasa hivi Tanzania East Africa Gateway, NMB Bank wako tayari. Absa Bank tafadhali karibieni jukwaa. Absa Bank tafadhali karibieni jukwaa. Thank you very much Tanzania East Africa Gateway. Wanaopanda jukwaani sasa hivi ni NMB Bank. NMB Bank wanapanda jukwaani kupokea mkono wao wa shukrani.
Sweet melody.
On stage now ni NMB Bank. Makofi kwao NMB Bank. Next, mabibi na mabwana, Absa Bank. Kuweni tayari. Anglo Gold Ashanti. Tafadhali kuweni tayari. Baada ya Anglo Gold Ashanti, mtakuja PSSSF. Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, nitaomba ruhusa ya kuwapa nafasi ya kipendeleo kidogo. Naona Absa walijichanganya pale. Ninaomba nishike hii ili waweze kupiga picha na wewe pamoja na mkono wao wa shukrani. Okay? Asanteni sana. Anglo Gold Ashanti, mabibi na mabwana. Anglo Gold Ashanti to the stage. Tafadhali kuweni tayari. PSSSF. PSSSF. Tafadhali kuweni tayari. Baada PSSSF ni Serengeti Premium Apple. Baada Serengeti Premium Apple ni Airtel. Hongereni kwenu Anglo Gold Ashanti. Ladies and gentlemen, wanaopanda jukwaani sasa hivi ni PSSSF. Wanaopanda jukwaani ni PSSSF. Serengeti Premium Apple, tafadhali kuweni tayari. Serengeti Premium Apple, tafadhali kuweni tayari. You are next. Baada ya Serengeti Premium Apple ni Airtel. Walio jukwaani sasa hivi ni PSSSF. Asanteni sana for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, to the stage. To the stage, Serengeti Premium Apple. To the stage, Serengeti Premium Apple. Wanapanda jukwaani sasa hivi ni Serengeti Premium Apple. Mabibi na mabwana, Airtel wakiwa tayari. Trust sasa hivi on stage ni Serengeti Premium Apple. Asanteni sana. Asanteni sana mabibi na mabwana. Next to the stage, Airtel. Airtel Tanzania wanapanda jukwaani. Airtel Tanzania. Airtel on the stage. I trust tafadhali kuweni tayari. I trust. Baada ya I trust ni NSSF. Baada ya I trust ni NSSF. Do we have a representative from I trust? NSSF tafadhali. NSSF tafadhali. Baada NSSF watakuja IC Lion. NSSF tafadhali wanakuja jukwani. NSSF. Baada ya NSSF tafadhali kuweni tayari. I see a lion. Baada ya I see a lion tafadhali Simba clearing. Muwe tayari. On the stage sasa hivi ni NSSF. I see a lion, you are next. Baada yenu ni Simba clearing, tafadhali move towards the stage. Simba clearing. Asanteni sana. NSSF, I see a lion, karibu sana. I see a lion, karibu sana. Baada yenu tafadhali nitaomba Simba clearing wakae tayari. Huu ni mkono wa shukrani. Asanteni sana NSSF. Ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana. I see a lion. Simba clearing to the stage. Simba clearing to the stage. Tafadhali kuweni tayari. KPMG. Baada ya KPMG ni Copra. Baada ya COPG. KPMG, please move closer to the stage. Baada ya KPMG ni Copra. Baada ya Copra ni Vertex International Securities Limited. Asante sana. KPMG to the stage. Ni furaha kuwa na mlolongo wa partners kama hivi, kwa sababu tunajua kwamba kile kinachojengwa na wengi sio tu kinafana, lakini kinakuwa na mizizi inayoshuka zaidi. Partnerships build the progress that we want to see towards Dira 2050. Mabibi na mabwana, jukwani ni KPMG, long-term partners of the Rising Women Awards. Asante sana. On to the stage, Copra. Copra tafadhali. Karibuni jukwani Copra. Baada ya Copra, Vertex. Tafadhali kuweni tayari. Vertex International Securities. Tafadhali mtakuwa tayari. Vertex, karibuni, twende haraka kidogo ili tuweze kuokoa muda. On the stage sasa hivi ni Copra, mabibi na mabwana. Asanteni sana. Vertex International Securities, karibuni jukwani. Vertex International Securities. Anayeshuka jukwani Bi Irene Mlola Madeje. Wanaopanda jukwani Vertex International Securities Limited. Baada ya Vertex mtakuja UN Women. Baada ya UN Women ni Mixed Bias. Baada ya Mixed Bias ni the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Walio jukwani sasa hivi ni Vertex International Securities. UN Women tafadhali to the stage. UN Women to the stage tafadhali. Na kuona as you're dashing to the stage. Dashing towards progress. Mixed Bias tafadhali kuweni tayari. Mixed Bias kuweni tayari pamoja na Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Tafadhali mtakaa tayari pia. Mixed Bias. Alafu mtafuatiliwa na the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Walio jukwani sasa hivi ni UN Women. And then we have Mixed Bias. Mixed Bias tafadhali tuje kwa uharaka kidogo jukwani. Mixed Bias. Yes, karibuni sana. Mixed Bias mnafuatiliwa na the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Tafadhali nikitaja jina lenu mkaribie jukwaa haraka iwezekanavyo ili tuweze kuokoa muda. Baada ya tukio hili tunaenda moja kwa moja kwenye kutoa tuzo za Rising Women na Women of the Future. Team ya Mixed Bias ikiongozwa na Miss Angelica Pesha. Mabibi na mabwana, jukwani ni team ya Mixed Bias Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Naona mko tayari kabisa na sare yenu ya International Women's Day. Hatari. Jukwani sasa hivi mabibi na mabwana ni Mixed Bias. Asanteni sana. Asanteni sana na kiongozi mashuhuri kabisa Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, karibuni. Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, karibuni. Baada yao tutawakaribisha Multi Choice. Baada ya Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange tutawakaribisha Multi Choice, mabibi na mabwana. Multi Choice, tafadhali karibieni jukwaa. Multi Choice, tafadhali karibieni jukwaa. Baada ya Multi Choice ni Africa Global Logistics. Baada ya Multi Choice ni Africa Global Logistics. On the stage right now, mabibi na mabwana, ni the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Mabibi na mabwana, to the stage wanapanda ni Multi Choice. Multi Choice to the stage, wakiongozwa na kiongozi wao mashuhuri kabisa, wanawake wa shoka, wanawake viongozi. Africa Global Logistics, tafadhali kaeni tayari. Africa Global Logistics, jempo. Africa Global Logistics, asanteni sana. Baada ya Africa Global Logistics, tafadhali kaeni tayari Smart Studio. Baada ya Smart Studio itakuwa ni Liaison Group. Asanteni sana Multi Choice, wanashuka jukwani. Ladies and gentlemen, wanaopanda jukwani kwa sasa is none other than the Africa Global Logistics Group. Tafadhali kaeni tayari. Baada ya Smart Group ni Liaison Group. Baada ya Smart Studio ni Smart Studio, kumradhi. Smart Studio, tafadhali. Asanteni sana Smart Studio. Smart Studio, tafadhali. Smart Studio, asante sana. Baada ya Smart Studio, mabibi na mabwana, Liaison Group. Baada ya Liaison Group ni More Enterprises. Liaison Group. Mtakuja baada ya Smart Studio. Baada ya Liaison Group mtakuja More Enterprises. Asanteni sana Smart Studio. Ladies and gentlemen, wanaopanda jukwani sasa hivi ni Liaison Group. Onto the stage, it is Liaison Group, ladies and gentlemen. And then right after Liaison Group, we will have More Enterprises. Mabibi na mabwana, wanaopanda au anayepanda sasa hivi ni More Enterprises. Mabibi na mabwana, akiwa represented by B. Fatima Dewji. More Enterprises. I trust, I believe you are back in the venue. I trust, tafadhali mtasogelea jukwaa. I trust, please move closer to the stage. I trust na kuona. Asante sana More Enterprises, mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi. I trust wamerudi, naona anajitahidi kukimbia kuelekea jukwaa, na najua hapo ni skuna. Ladies and gentlemen, makofi kwa all the partners. Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, nitaomba ubaki hapo hapo. Tunaenda moja kwa bwana, mko tayari? Naona kama hamko tayari. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? These are the women of the future. Women of the future. Mabibi na mabwana, tunaanza namna hii, na of course nikitaja kampuni yako, tafadhali shangwe, vigelegele, nderemo, celebrations za aina yote. Tunaanza na Vodacom Tanzania. Vodacom, hongereni sana, Women of the Future Award. Vodacom Tanzania. Get ready, sana Vodacom. Ladies and gentlemen, next winner of the Woman of the Future Award. Mabibi na mabwana. Next, we have Women of the Future awardees, Airtel Tanzania. Airtel. Women of the Future Awards 2020-26. Makofi kwao, mabibi na mabwana. Hongereni sana, Women of the Future. Ladies and gentlemen, Orca is next. Orca, recipient Women of the Future Awards 2020-26. Orca. Orca Jempo. Do we have a representative kutoka Orca? Aha, simuoni, tafadhali tuwapigie makofi ili wajue kwamba tuliwasherehekea. Orca ni wale pale wanakuja, jamani, tuwapigie makofi. Mabibi na mabwana, baada ya Orca, naomba ni announce ili tuweze kuokoa muda kidogo kwenye msafara wa kuja jukwani. Baada ya Orca watakuja au mtakuja watu credit. Watu credit mtakuja baada ya Orca. Mabibi na mabwana, ni Orika. Orika ndio wako jukwani. Ni Orca. Hongereni sana Orca, mabibi na mabwana, watu credit. Watu credit. Aha. Karibu sana. Watu credit. Maya Scott, Christian Idua, Serge Ombeto, Odette Ye, Sissi Kuka, Shedi, reste man le meilleur, et donc le Koinjo Ato Yalabuni. Hongereni sana, Women of the Future 2020-26. Women of the Future Awards 2020-26. Right here at the Rising Women Awards 2020-26. Mabibi na mabwana, the next category this evening is the Rising Women Awards. Hizi ndo Rising Women Awards, mabibi na mabwana. Tunaanza shangwe za kibabe kabisa. Tunaanza now. live bila chenga, Absa Bank Tanzania, recipients of the Rising Women Awards 2020-26, Absa Bank. Nitaomba nikiwataja majina muweze kuelekea jukwaani haraka iwezekanavyo ili tuweze kuokoa muda kidogo. Heshimiwa mgeni rasmi anaweza kanitoza faini. Absa Bank ikiongozwa na kiongozi wao mashuhuri kabisa. Mabibi na mabwana, tuwapigie makofi yaliyoshiba kabisa.
L'étoile de Boaké, Amadou Koné, Chicheke Jevara, Estra Musita, Nouvel Horizon,
na Bwana Obediliza. Mabibi na mabwana, hao ni Absa Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, next to the stage, Geita Gold Mine recipients of the Rising Women Awards 2020-26. Geita Gold Mine. Geita Gold. Makofi kwa mabibi na mabwana.
Aboko likoloe, Esperanza Fula tombola, Aboko likoloe, Wefu Kumalanga tombola, Aboko likoloe. Hey, 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 hey,
Partnership Warriors. Mabibi na mabwana, baada ya hapo asanteni sana. We do believe that 2027 all the way to Dira 2050 tutakuwa pamoja na hawa partners. Jamani, makofi kwao mabibi na mabwana. Karibuni sana, muweze ku take your seats tafadhali. Please, you may take your seats. Next, may I please invite the various CEOs represented here. Now, if you're a CEO and you're already on stage, utabaki tu. If you are a CEO, a managing director, executive director, tafadhali utabaki tu jukwani.
Sasa la localisation.
CEOs represented, CEOs of different companies, different organizations, tafadhali tuwakaribishe jukwani. All the CEOs, viongozi wetu machachari. The CEOs of different organizations and companies represented to the stage, tafadhali. CEOs of different companies, organizations, government associations, CEOs, managing directors, executive directors, to the stage, tafadhali. Leaders leading change across different sectors. Viongozi wanaosema kwamba tutabadilisha mifumo, tutahakikisha kwamba mifumo inasoma for both men and women. Mifumo itasoma for Dira 2050. Mifumo itasoma for a better, prosperous Tanzanian for every Tanzanian. Mabibi na mabwana, makofi kwao viongozi hawa. Kama kuna kiongozi wa kampuni yako, jamani, tupige makofi. Tuwajulishe kwamba we appreciate them. Tuwashangilie. Na pale jukwani kama wataweza wakablash kidogo. Namna hiyo. Thank you so very much for all that you do. Asanteni sana. Ladies and gentlemen, and for now, I'd like to give this opportunity for the final picture to a very special group of people who every year bring us together. Mabibi na mabwana, the team from Mwananchi Communications Limited. To the stage, tafadhali. Behind the scenes, MCL, familia ya MCL. Kama tafadhali, karibuni jukwani. Organizing committee ambao hamjalala, mkihakikisha kwamba hili jambo linafanyika. Mbona kama hamtaki kuja? Ladies and gentlemen, a hand of applause to this team. Consistently, committedly, sustainably, year by year, bringing us together, raising the bar consistently, giving so that we can collectively gain. Hongereni sana. Kuna wengine bado wanakuja, walikuwa wamejisahau kwamba they are part of the team. Wamekumbuka sasa. Sasa la tuombe. Sasa barato. DJ. Mabibi na mabwana, tafadhali naomba tusikilizane. At this point naomba tuwape makofi ya shangwe na nderemo hii team ya kibabe kabisa ya Mwananchi. Sasa msijipigie nyewe makofi, nyewe mnapigiwa makofi. Kaeni, tulieni. Receive your flowers. Jamani, tuwape maua yao. May you know that you are celebrated. Congratulations DJ, tuende kazi. Asanteni sana na hongereni sana. You can take your seats. Mheshimiwa mgeni. Mabibi na mabwana, baada ya hapo tunaenda moja kwa moja holding room kupata chakula cha usiku. Tafadhali ninaomba tuketi, manake kuna protocol to be observed. Lakini kabla ya hapo ningependa kukumbusha tu na kushukuru all the partners that have come together to make today a success. Pale nilipotaja partners, kuna mmoja ambao nilimruka bahati mbaya ambaye ni AGL. Mabibi na mabwana, ni AGL, tafadhali tuwapigie makofi. Lakini kabla ya kwenda pia kwenye dinner, niwaeleze kwamba sasa hivi kuna zawadi zinaenda kutolewa. Kuna zawadi zinaenda kutolewa. So please remain seated. Hizi sio zawadi ndogo. In the spirit of celebration before the dinner, bado the Rising Women Awards 2026 is a gift that keeps on giving. One of the partners has come with special awards tonight. Na tutaenda kuzitoa hapa kabla hatujatoka rasmi kupata chakula cha usiku. Ladies and gentlemen, may I please call to the stage to announce the winners of the awards that they've prepared, of the prizes they have prepared. Miss Fatma Jeuji from More Enterprises. Tafadhali makofi kwake mabibi na mabwana anavyopanda jukwaani.
One time again, tu m'as jamais laissé tomber. Jesus, you dey give me love I have never seen. Since of attack on G, you could imbia, we take imana. Na mo baby girl, you took my to test. Kukena na na, yesu niko kutest.
Hello everyone, good evening. Distinguished guests, respected leaders, partners, organizers, and the incredible women that are gathered here today. Good evening. It's truly an honor to stand before you all. Before anything else, I'd like to thank God for giving us the opportunity to be here today, to gather, and to be here at the event of the Rising Women Initiative. which is dedicated to uplifting, inspiring, and empowering women. I'm going to just share a very short story. About 12 years ago, I had the opportunity to host a television show called Educate, Empower, and Inspire. Through that show, I had the privilege of interviewing more than 50 incredible women across Tanzania. Women who are building businesses, leading organizations, and shaping our future country. One of these women was the late Dr. Mwele Malachela, a remarkable leader whose work in public health impacted millions of lives. So sitting across from these women like her and listening to their journeys, their struggles, their stories, and their determination, it ignited something in me. It made me realize how powerful women can be when they're given the opportunity, the support, and the platform to succeed. So as the marketing director of METL, we have decided that we believe that women should be honored. So 2 weeks ago, inspired by this theme, I invited women across Tanzania through my social media platform to share their stories with me, their struggle, their businesses, their dreams, and that they're working very hard to build. So my team and I, we received so many inspiring stories, and together we selected 10 women whose journey truly moved us as women, who represents resilience, creativity, determination, and courage. So today I had the pleasure of inviting these women here because I wanted to do something small to support their journey. Each of these women will receive 1 million shillings as a contribution towards growing their business. Beyond the financial support, I will also be inviting them to have mentorship sessions with me, where I will spend time discussing business, marketing ideas, strategies, and ways to help them accelerate their businesses. So for me personally, this initiative reflects something very close to my heart. My purpose has always been to touch the lives of people, and it is also the purpose of our brand, Tunagusa Maisha Yako, our brand as a Mo. So today, I would like to sincerely thank the Mo family for contributing to this cause, and it gives me great pleasure to recognize these 10 women that are here with us. So if I call you on stage, if you guys can just come on stage and receive your checks. Okay. Rastuta Daoud, who is owner of RJ the Barber. She's a female barber who owns and runs her own barbershop, breaking barriers in a traditionally male-dominated society. Mariam Kivugo of Dolce Desserts Tanzania, a talented home baker and content creator who has turned her passion for baking into a growing dessert business. Irene Hubert of Justry Cakes, a bakery entrepreneur who has successfully built and sustained her cake business for the past 2 years. Alham Mohammed of Trufeli by Amias, the founder of a creative chocolate brand based in Zanzibar. Zainab Rashid of Zay Essentials, a cosmetic entrepreneur building her beauty brand while balancing business and family life. Betrina Bishubo of Bend the Trend, a fashion entrepreneur building her own clothing brand and bringing creativity into the fashion industry. When Frida Amani of Frida Store, a resilient entrepreneur building her business after losing everything in the Kariako building collapse. Concepta Muimu of Coco Aura brand. She's a founder of a growing beauty and cosmetics brand focused on skincare and confidence. Intisar Hussein Awad of Serene Beauty, an entrepreneur building a unique and creative hair brand. Emiliana Matutina of Stella Matutina Sense, who is a medical student at KCMC, who is also building her own perfume and fragrance business. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for being here, and I'd just like to hand you over your checks, so you can just help out with that. Thank you. Yeah. Nice to meet you all. Did everybody get their... Oh, there's 2 more coming. Yeah. Can we get a round of applause for all these women, please? So in the spirit of give to gain and the idea of paying it forward, I want to encourage everyone here today. Please use your gifts, use your talents, pay it forward, help other women in whichever small way you can. This is how you build societies, you build economies, and you build a future. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mabibi na mabwana, kwa mara nyingine tena makofi kwao More Enterprises. Lakini pia kwa washindi wa hizi zawadi. Congratulations. You can take your seats. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much, Mr. Uji. Hongera sana pia. Mabibi na mabwana, we have come to that point in our evening that we head on to dinner. Dinner is served outside. Chakula cha jioni kipo tayari. Chakula sasa hiki ni cha usiku. Kipo tayari. Tafadhali remain seated. The protocol team is prepared and will make sure that they're raising one table after the other to make sure that there's no congestion outside. Tafadhali remain seated. This is the Citizen Rising Women Awards 2020-26. And my name is Halil Amboy. With great pleasure and an honor it was to lead us through the agenda this evening. Bon appetit. Karibuni chakula cha usiku. Have a great evening.